would have made a difference on this squad, particularly when he's the only player I've seen during this whole run where he would get in the doghouse for whatever reason. Michael Malone hated Michael Porter Jr. for some reason. Just always, he makes a mistake, he's got to sit out. He's going to go sit down. But, Jamal can go 4 for 18 and he's still Batman or Robin to Batman's Joker. Like, he never got benched. It's crazy. He'd be throwing heat packs and doing all sorts of stuff and just shooting you out of games. But, that's fine. But Michael Porter Jr. always, I was always disappointed with their failure to develop and find a real role for him. But I certainly was not disappointed when they got rid of that albatross of a contract. And so to me, it's just complete revisionist history to say, well, that aged poorly. Michael Porter is so good right now for the Nets, they're actively exploring getting rid of him rather than pay him again. Like, they're really going to say if he doesn't take a reasonable extension, they're probably just going to move him.
Well, that's why they brought him in. It was because they know that he'll look really good on a terrible team, and they can move him for maybe more draft picks. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody, I feel.
Yeah, and to his credit, he played the best ball of his career last year. I don't wish any ill, even though I never knew before. He's a little nutty, when he opens his mouth. But there's a lot of things I really respect about Michael Porter Jr. as far as responding to adversity and getting through very tough personal life situations and physical situations. Like, there's some really good things about Michael Porter Jr. and I wish him well. But to spin this revisionist narrative that they would have somehow beat the Spurs or the Thunder or the Timberwolves or whatever if they'd only had Michael Porter Jr. instead of Cam Johnson. In fact, Cam Johnson, up until the fourth quarter in one of those games that they lost, actually played pretty well and gave them a shot to win. And then he did falter late, as did the team, and it just wasn't meant to be. They're just not good enough right now. They're not one Michael Porter Jr. away from winning the championship.
Michael Jr. Porter.
So we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, because I want to get into some things with the Nuggets. I actually think everybody else is panicking about the Nuggets. I'm actually, for the first time in a little while, feeling a little bit optimistic. I think they're actually going to be in a pretty good spot. But before we get to that, by the way, no love for the Broncos. And what is up with this lowering of the bar for the Broncos by the morning show? We'll get into that coming up next.
The Colorado Rockies just landed 10 players on ESPN's top 100 trade candidates, tied for the most in baseball. And suddenly the deadline might run straight through Denver. From Mickey Moniak's hot bat to Antonio Senzatella's breakout as a shutdown reliever, contenders are circling, and the new DePodesta-led front office faces its first real test. Will the Rockies cash in their chips and accelerate the rebuild, or play it safe? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Jacob's Law, 303 Law 4040, 303 Law 4040. I got a good illustration of, in real life, what it means like to call the husband and wife law firm that you'll actually get to speak with us. I'm never shy to say when you call a lot of the big made-for-TV lawyers, you may be speaking to a call center overseas, you may be speaking to AI, you may be speaking to an answering service or just a legal secretary, and you never get through to an actual lawyer. Well, we give our cell phone numbers to every client we sign up. Kim's number, my number, Chris's number, your case manager's number. You get all of our cell phone numbers. Signed up a lady 2 days ago. I'm in and getting ready for the show this morning. Go, at the gas station, getting my coffee, all that stuff. Phone rings. She has a question about the property damage in her car and if it's okay if she goes and does something today. I answered the phone, answered her questions, and I was happy to do it. That's the type of service you get at Jacob's Law and 303 Law 4040. See if you get that from the big made-for-TV lawyers. I already know the answer. You won't. 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
When you've been hurt after a traumatic car crash, you don't need a sales pitch from an attorney with big promises and a loud voice. You need a team who fights for real results fast. That's why so many across the country choose the Berg Simpson Law Firm. Berg Simpson is nationally recognized, but is local right here in Colorado. So give us a call and let our team fight for the results you deserve today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $3 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
We're live on the radio and on our YouTube chat and YouTube channel. Hey, man, we just got the YouTube up and going for today. We only have like 5 people on there, man. You're making me look bad. Don't you love the show? Don't you want to support us? Get out there. YouTube, Denver Sports 104.3, out on the RamosLaw.com text line from Mike. He says, it's cute that you brag about your pick'em accomplishments when many of your listeners are outscoring you. I've outscored all of you every year, but I still can't win. I'm like, hey, Mike, man, I ain't gonna lie. That's a fair point. I only brag to dunk on my teammates here at the station to kind of put them in their place, because they're the ones that come out and say, well, if you never played professional football, you have no business giving any opinions on the sport. If you don't watch tape, then blah, blah, blah. And they sell themselves as experts and analysts and insiders and all this stuff, and then they can't beat little old me, and I can't even beat Mike. on the text line.
Grabs 3 clips.
But yeah, no, so that's a valid point, Mike. I just love beating up on Schlereth and Zach By and Phil Lindsay and Dover and all those guys. Cecil does all right. He doesn't do as good as me, but he's at least up there. But I love beating all those guys and getting my King Supers gift cards when I win on a weekly basis. So, but good point, Mike. No, I hope you break through and win. Somebody else reacting to last segment says, "Oh, look who was here! It's the Murray haters!" Exclamation point. All right, I feel you. But you know what I was thinking about after I read that text? I could be wrong on this. And Joe, you fix me on some of these things sometimes, and it's confusing, and we don't necessarily know what the heck's going on. But I was looking at the cap stuff before the show.
That's a terrible idea.
And yeah, it is, because we could all get confused. But I think if they want to bring back Payton Watson, they're going to need to clear out and not pay the repeater tax. They're going to need to clear out about $40 million or something like that.
40 to 45.
Yeah, before the trade deadline. Did they could cure all of that by just finding a way, and I know it's not that simple, because you can't just trade Jamal Murray for nothing, like draft picks, and then lose his entire salary. But he makes like $52 million. Like if they just got if they could just erase his contract, they'd get the reset they need. So just think about that. And what's likely going to happen is they're just going to get rid of Cam Johnson and Aaron Gordon before the trade deadline, and they'll move on. And we'll still have Jamal Murray, and you can still love him all you want, Texter. Fair point. All right, so want to move on to some Broncos conversation here. I've already started to lay out my expectations for the team. I teased it a little bit earlier in that in fact, it was 3 years ago this week, I was hosting with DMAC, and I was saying, we need to be fair to Sean Payton and the Broncos. He's not just going to come in, wave his magic wand, and all of a sudden they're going to be great. But other people, in part because Sean Payton acted like he was going to come in and, get to the playoffs from day one. And he did better than we expected for sure. But I said, it's not fair to him until he has a chance to build the roster he wants. And I want to see this team get incrementally better. They had a lot of holes to fill, and they still have some holes to fill. But we got to be fair, and to saddle them with these high expectations, just not really cool. Now, as fans, we can always want them to go to the Super Bowl, but that's not always the most realistic thing. And so I've been, patient. I've been pleasantly surprised by the progress that Sean Payton has, the headway he's made with this team. And they got way farther last year than I could have imagined. And that's a credit to him and the players and all that stuff, and Bo Nix and all that. And it's possible that they could slide back a little bit. Like, it's not guaranteed they're going to win the AFC, and it's not guaranteed they're going to get back to the AFC Championship game and hosting it at home.
How dare you, Dan?
So that would be fair to say, yeah, I'm a little bit worried they may not be quite as good from a record perspective, but they could be a better team. But what is perplexing to me is I'm listening to, so I come in, I do some show prep, and I'm listening to some stuff from the morning show, and they just, both Mike and Stokely, just give the Broncos really kind of an inexplicable pass, like free pass, like just really like took the bar and just threw it on the floor, like there's no bar or whatever. It's kind of crazy to me. And so let me play the clip, and then we can all react together.
For the Broncos, blank or bust? Where are you right now?
Blank or bust?
Fill in the blank. So if the Avalanche, let's say, were Stanley Cup or bust.
Right.
If the Nuggets were Western Conference Finals or bust.
Right.
Broncos, fill in the blank, bust or bust.
Playoffs. Playoffs or bust.
Really?
Yeah,
that
I know.
low?
I know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just in a, like, it's like, hey, man, I don't know. Like, my appreciation maybe for what they've been able to do here with Sean Payton running the show over the last 3 years. Where they were, got a young quarterback. It's going to be fun. That's where I'm at. I can't help it.
Wow. See, for me, it's it is AFC divisional round or bust.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Which means you either win a wild card game to get to the divisional round, or you
have the number one seed.
Right. So, divisional round or bust for me.
Unbelievable. The team won the AFC. I believe they went after the playoffs. They were 15-4 and just a Bo Nix injury away from the Super Bowl. And what do you mean? Oh, well, if they can get to the second round. That was last year. That was, okay, we got smacked by the Bills, but we made it to the playoffs. So the year before last, right? Hey, getting to the playoffs, that'd be great. And we got to the playoffs and we got smacked around, 31-7 by the Bills. Okay, so last year your expectation could have been, well, I want to make the playoffs or get to the second round. But what are we doing? They got to the AFC Championship game last year. Dang near got to the Super Bowl. Now we're just happy to be here. We just want to get to the playoffs. Boy, wouldn't that be a good time? Boy, that would be fun. If we could have a playoff game.
Playoffs?
If we could watch what are you talking about? No. It is weird around here. It reminds me of the last time the Avs won the Cup, and I remember specifically Mike Evans. Boy, he was really holding the Avalanche accountable. Now, they had the best team in hockey the year before, and they flamed out in the second round against, in embarrassing fashion, against the Vegas Golden Knights. So expectations were high for the team, and they played really well during the regular season. And so we were asking people on the station, well, what's the bar here? Like, what would be okay? And Mike was really holding them accountable. When breaking down the best team in hockey during the regular season, he thought anything short of the Western Conference Finals was not acceptable. And they went on and won the Cup. I was like, how, at a minimum, when your team is the best team in hockey for the entire regular season, why wouldn't you say they got to at least get to the finals? Like, I was like, no, they got to win the Cup. Like, they had that core. By that time, they had the core. They had all the pieces. It was time for them to win. And they did. And they won. So why would I say, well, a loss in the Western Conference Finals would have been a good season? No, of course not. When you're the best team in the sport, anything short of a championship is not acceptable. And so I was just scratching my head that year. And it's the same thing coming up for the Avalanche this year. I don't care. Getting to the Cup means nothing. Winning the Cup, that's the bar. Anything short of that is a failure for the Colorado Avalanche. Rockies have different expectations. Nuggets have different expectations. And yes, the Broncos will have different expectations, but I have adjusted my expectations. And I believe it's fair. We've all doubted Sean Payton in one way or another. I have been in support of him. He was the guy I wanted to be the head coach, and I've been impressed with what he's been able to get done. But there's always seemed to have been a little something missing, probably because they won a lot of close games last year in a very improbable fashion. And I still look at the roster and say, man, we lack some very serious firepower in certain areas. And so I've never looked at them and said, yeah, but they're just destined. They're just like the Chiefs and the Bills or whatever. They're gonna roll. But at some point you have to say, get over it. They're winning. Those wins all count. That Giants win, which was nuts, it counts. That was a win. All of them. They all count, and they find a way to win. And so what I said was, I've been very fair to them. I've been very patient. And my metric was, when Sean Payton has a chance to build his team the way he wants it, then he's going to have to go real far. Well, he did that because they got to the AFC Championship game and then said, I like my team. I'm going to add one really key piece in Jalen Waddle. We're going to add some nice draft picks that have a chance to contribute right away. And then we're going to run it back. Well, to me, then, that's when the expectations start in earnest. They don't go down. Does that make any sense to you, Joe? They go down. Once Sean Payton says, yeah, I got my squad. We're an experienced squad. Our quarterback's on the rise. We got a key weapon from the Dolphins. We got a top in the league's defense.
So let's get worse.
Let's get worse? How does that make any sense?
I mean, I can hear the argument for the regular season. Like, they might get less wins than 14. That's absolutely plausible. But I'm not accepting anything less than winning the AFC Championship. Unless it's some kind of nail-biter, one of the best games of all time type deal, I'm still going to be heartbroken. I'm still going to feel terrible. So, yeah, no, even if it's one of those, I'm not accepting anything less than winning the AFC Championship. You have to win the AFC and represent them in the Super Bowl.
And then that's another thing I was going to chat about, Joe. This idea that they're not as good as some other teams. We can all be honest. We're in the trust tree here. There was a legitimate reason to be afraid that the Broncos weren't as good as the best teams in the AFC last year. But if you are objective about it and you look at the AFC now, who are you afraid of? Are you afraid of? Because I updated the odds here. These are the AFC odds to get to the Super Bowl, to win the AFC, not win the whole thing, just from the AFC. And the Broncos are not getting a whole lot of respect. Top contenders, the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, the Buffalo Bills always sound scary. What the Bills, Joe? Do you remember what happened to the Bills in the playoffs last year?
No, what happened, Dan?
Oh, my God, they lost to the Denver Broncos. So we're just supposed to be afraid of the Buffalo Bills, a team that we beat in the playoffs. No, sorry, not afraid of them. And in some rankings, the Baltimore Ravens, for some reason, everybody's back on the Ravens train. The Ravens flame out in the playoffs every year, and we finally started to see, did you see Lamar Jackson in the playoffs? They're a team on the decline, not on the incline. Why would we be afraid of them, particularly with our defense? No. Sorry, not afraid of them. And then we have the Chargers. Every year, this is the year, Jim Harbaugh this, Jim Harbaugh that, blah, 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 blah. They continue to be the Chargers. I don't think anybody here in this town, if you look at it, expect anything less than the Broncos to repeat as AFC West champions, and that includes beating the Chargers and Chiefs again. So why does nationally is everybody like, oh, well, they'll be better. They'll just figure it out. Okay. Well, because, sometimes Justin Herbert looks really good, just not when it counts. And the Chiefs is another one for me. They automatically I don't even get it. When they were healthy, when Patrick Mahomes was healthy last year, they were not as good as the Broncos. But now a Patrick Mahomes that they're rushing back to the field for some reason, all of a sudden they're just going to become a good team again when they were a bad team last year and he shredded his leg. That doesn't make sense to me. If we're just being objective about it, and I've always thought the Chiefs were better. As it turns out, the Broncos, for the moment, are better than the Chiefs. But, the quote national handicappers or whatever, they put them ahead of the Broncos. Now, the Patriots I could see, because the Patriots beat the Broncos and went to the playoffs, and the Patriots played really well. Went to the Super Bowl, and the Patriots played really well last year. So,
and they got A.J. Brown.
So it's no big insult to say that, the odds favor the Patriots over the Broncos. But those are the, quote, top contenders, according to that website. And then the mid-tier levels, that's kind of the next group. They have the Texans, which to some extent I do understand it. I think you and I talked about it last week, Joe. Like, they actually have a better defense than the Broncos. And they were on the verge of maybe beating the Broncos until their quarterback got hurt. So I can see the argument there, but I would expect the Broncos to be better. And the Bengals are always scary. So the Bengals, so it goes Texans in the mid-tier, Broncos in the mid-tier, and then they have at the exact same odds, the Bengals. What have we seen that the Bengals are anything other than what they've been for the last 4 or 5 years, which is they have a really good quarterback that on any given day they can beat you, but they don't have the horses up front, and they certainly don't have the defense. They're just not good. Yet you can get the exact same odds for the Bengals to get to the Super Bowl as the Denver Broncos, who are the number 1 team in the AFC. And then the Jaguars are in that same group with them, slightly longer odds. It's just weird to me why the Broncos would get this level of disrespect, because, yeah, you can say that, well, the Broncos might take a little step back or blah, 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 but they should get, maybe from a record standpoint, yes, but they should get better. They should be a better team. They should be better defensively. Bo Nix should be better from an offensive standpoint. Why would he get worse? With 2 years, quote, reading defenses. They read defenses on the Broncos coaching staff in the Broncos quarterback room. To realistically expect him to regress and get worse, it could happen. I only say that because my main concern for the Broncos is teams do, after a little while, they tend to figure you out after you put enough stuff on tape and there's a large enough sample size to get to your game. Defenses figure out a formula for planning for you. Why do you think Lamar Jackson's never gone to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, you put enough screen passes on film, Dan, they're going to figure it out.
So what I'm worried about is he makes so many plays with his legs, not like Lamar Jackson, which, a lot of designed runs and things like that. But Bo Nix is just so good at feeling pressure, rolling out, or just stepping up and then making some plays with his feet down, picking up yardage that way.
You talking about Bo?
Well, my expectation would be, defenses are going to say, you know what? We're going to take that away. We may let him beat us with his Bover throws or something like that, but we're going to take away that. And then we'll find out for real how good the Broncos offensive line is. So I do have some worries about that, but it's not like, a Case Keenum had a really good year one year, but you knew he was going to fall back down to earth or something like that. Like, you expect Bo Nix to get a little bit better. Now, he may have kind of hit his ceiling, which, by the way, was almost 4,000 yards and 26 touchdowns, I believe, or something like that, plus a handful of touchdowns on the ground. Like, even last year's numbers were nothing to laugh at. But he could get a little bit. He could be passing for 4,200 yards, 4,300 yards, maybe 30 touchdowns, 32 touchdowns. I would expect him to get a little bit better. I'm not planning on a regression.
Well, especially if, like you say, teams try to take away his legs, he's going to get more passing yards. I think that's really going to show how good these acquisitions were for the Broncos in Jalen Waddle and the draft picks.
It certainly could happen. Now, the defenses, they would expect, no, because we don't think he's very accurate, and when we force him into situations where he must throw the football, and maybe he'll make some more mistakes, which could happen. But we're not saying that. We're optimistic. We think they're going to be better. We're holding them to a higher standard. And if they don't get better, well, then something went wrong. But that doesn't mean we should, out of fear and panic, lower the expectations before they've even played a game. And supposedly, Davis Webb is going to make things a little bit better. Right? So, I think they should, the expectation is they should get better. And the AFC is not what it once was. You don't have a juggernauts Patriots team with Tom Brady. They're like, oh, well, we're not going to get past them, or Peyton Manning and the Colts or whatever. Or even the Chiefs with prime Patrick Mahomes and the Bills.
Patrick Mahomes
and Joe Burrow scaring you and Josh Allen. Boy, there's no way we can beat Josh Allen. Like, all those guys are beatable. Everybody's beatable. There's no reason for the Broncos to feel like their expectations should not be the Super Bowl. I would not have said that last year. But this year, They've said, this is our squad. We're good to go. Why on earth is Mike Evans saying the second round? And Brandon Stokely in particular, he's a former professional athlete and an NFL player. They'll tell you that every single year, every team, no matter how bad they are, like the Raiders this year, they believe if they play up to their level, they're going to get to the playoffs. And that they could win a title if everything went right. The Browns are going to believe that. I've heard enough of these former athletes say, I know it doesn't make sense to you guys on the outside looking in, but when you're in that locker room, you always believe that you can win. So knowing that, the fact that Brandon Stokely's like, well, I just like to get to the playoffs. Dude, you got to the playoffs 2 years ago.
It shows they don't believe, Dan.
Yeah. Do you believe? Stokely.
Do you believe?
Where you at? Yeah. So
Which one are you, a dog or a cat?
yeah, that's my all-time favorite. Like, Coach, how are we going to win, and how are you going to convince with things embarrassing and getting more humiliating by the moment? How are you going to continue to try and recruit top talent into such a bad situation? Are you a dog or are you a cat? I want dogs. If you don't come here, you're a cat. Like,
Which
what?
one are you, a dog or a cat?
What? What are you talking about? Gibberish.
Do you believe?
Like the best players in the world want to go to the worst situations just because they can. No. Like, what are you talking about, Coach? Makes no sense. So anyway, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Hit us up on the YouTube Sean Honda chat or the ramoslaw.com text line. And then coming up next, by the way, somebody called me a pig and a dirtbag because they think I'm a bad guy, which makes it interesting.
Well, I've been saying that for years, Dan.
Yeah, of course you have. But it's interesting that people are coming to the defense of the Spurs announcer that gets fired for cheating on his girlfriend. And then Colin Cowherd is outraged by it. We should sue, he says. Let's get to that a little bit next.
With the Broncos bringing back J.K. Dobbins and drafting Jonah Coleman, is there an important piece that fans could be sleeping on?
It just seems like RJ Harvey's been the forgotten man in all this. There were things he did last year that maybe didn't blow you away. He was a rookie. I'm one that refuses to bury a guy until I see how he comes back for that second year. Because for a lot of these rookies, that rookie season is just one big whirlwind.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. It's such a fantastic thing. First off, the beef is not shot up full of hormones and injections and all that stuff. It's locally raised, right, on the Valine family ranch just outside of Bennett, Colorado. I've been there. I've seen the cows. I've seen how they feed them and they let them work. And then they also raise them, where I'm a judge out there in Otis, they raise them out there as well. But they do it. It's Colorado farm, ranch, to-table freshness. It's better for you. And they're going to deliver it to your front door. You pick out which bundle you want. Go to the website, say, this looks good or that looks good. The average Dan Jacobs Show listener that orders gets a half beef. And then 90% of them have come back a second time, which is fantastic. So you pick out what you want. They're going to deliver it to your front door with a money-back guarantee at a tremendous savings over the grocery store prices, even the warehouse stores, the bulk stores. Deer Trail Meat Co. knocks their socks off, maybe 70-80% off that. You don't have to take my word for it. Just go check out the website. All sorts of good stuff there, and then you can call them on Monday and put in your order. DeerTrailMeatCo.com. That's DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
If the amazing regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics provided relief for former pro football player Bobby Carpenter, imagine the potential for your aching joints.
So my knee had been bothering me for a while. I played football for a number of years. I looked at talking to some doctors when I need to potentially have surgery, and I decided hey, let's check out QC Kinetics. I go in there and they look at the knee. Hey, here's the program that we can put you through.
That treatment takes your body's own healing properties and concentrates them at the root of the pain. No surgery or downtime.
The best part was there's no recovery until one day I felt like, hey, this feels like my old self again. I feel better. It's helped me. It's helped my dad. Hopefully it will help you in the same way. My message to them is do not wait. So you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Take it from Bobby Carpenter. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Let the big dog eat. What's up, guys? Zach here, and I am all in on golf these days. Always looking for tee times, booking lessons, and saying yes to rounds with friends. And that's why Aurora has become my go-to for playing and practicing. Yes, we're talking about practice. From beginners just starting out to competitive players, Aurora Golf has a course you'll love. All 5 courses are in beautiful shape. The staff are super friendly, and the value, man, it's tough to beat. Book your next round tonight at golfaurora.com and give their Instagram a follow at golfaurora.co.
Welcome to Whatever Bank, where we do our best and you do the rest.
Hi, what kind of relationship benefits do you offer?
Relationship benefits? That usually kicks in when you have more zeros in your account. But I like to think our coffee in the lobby is pretty decent.
You don't have to bank like that. Make the switch to KeyBank and earn real benefits by making 5 qualifying transactions each month with your KeyBank checking account.
I was going to do that anyway.
Learn more at key.com/relationship. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank, member FDIC.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Cudarelli Vision. Here's my story. I wore glasses growing up for a long time, and then when I hit my 30s playing for the Broncos, I ended up having LASIK surgery, but when I hit my mid-50s, I needed those readers for everything I did, whether it was going to restaurants trying to read menus, whether it was reading statistics, studying film. I needed those reading glasses. Well, I decided to go see Dr. Cudarelli at Cudarelli Vision for refractive lens exchange, and I can tell you firsthand, total game changer. And you can join Dr. Cudarelli for his live webinar this Wednesday at noon. Learn more about refractive lens exchange from Cudarelli Vision. This free webinar is the perfect opportunity to meet Dr. Cudarelli and have him answer all your questions like, is RLE for me? Am I a good candidate? What's the recovery time? What's the cost? Is there financing? Cudarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures, and he can tell you when it's time for you. Make sure you join that live webinar this Wednesday at noon. Register at ColoradoRLE.com. That's ColoradoRLE.com.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
It's interesting the way people respond. And it's just, what's fascinating to me is I think we're living in truly, what's the quote? May you live in interesting times, right? Who wants the boring times? You know, like I'm sure the 50s were great, right? But, you know, pretty boring. The 40s, like what, you know, well, I guess the 40s were.
Yeah, what interesting happened in the 40s?
Oh, yeah, the second half of the 40s or whatever, right? Because, there was that thing called the World War or all that stuff. But, from 46 to 60, well, whatever, I don't know. It's pretty good times, but it's just kind of there. Now we're in remarkable times, and we're seeing a shift in our demographics and our culture and our makeup and our particularly in our values, which is very interesting to me. And so earlier in the show, we were talking about Jonathan Cooper. If you go to DenverSports.com, the #1 headline on DenverSports.com talks about Jonathan Cooper and how he's probably not going to go to trial during the season, and his situation will more than likely be resolved next offseason. And I said, I think he'll probably get 4 to 6 games, no matter what happens, and they'll move along, and that'll be that. There's not going to be this oh, Greg Penner's going to come over the top and issue a harsher punishment than what the league hands down, or he's going to cut Jonathan Cooper because they're just so moral at the Denver Broncos that they just can't sleep at night knowing that somebody got arrested on their organization. Like, that's just not going to happen.
And Dan, maybe I need a little bit of clarification. But as far as I understand it, the actual domestic violence stuff is still not totally confirmed, or has there been like injuries confirmed to the girl? Or 'cause I remember the report the day of saying that she did not have injuries consistent with whatever the allegations were. But is there anything different about that? Because it sounds like people are pretty angry.
Well, yes. So to answer your question, yes, and I'll give you the specifics on it, but that's what makes this case tough, because it's my understanding, and I've heard this secondhand or whatever, so I actually haven't seen this in the court paperwork. But the reason, well, there's a couple reasons she got arrested too. One was she admitted she was in a relationship with him, and she admitted that she threw his phone and things like that, and she was trying to break his phone. That's an automatic arrest. Unless you're Von Miller, that's an automatic arrest, right? And it was an automatic arrest for him because he admitted he made contact with her neck area. He said something like his shoulder kind of got up there, whatever. But what she claimed was he picked me up off the ground and choked me for a minute and then threw me across the room.
Whoa.
And the cops looked at that. It's my understanding is that the cops looked at the situation, the evidence and all that, and said your injuries and the room itself and stuff is not consistent with that in any way, shape, or form. She was like, oh, I didn't lose any contact. So I didn't lose consciousness or anything like that. But so the cops had problems, to say the least, with what was going on there. So then they sent, as the victim in the case, they did have her evaluated by, I believe, a nurse who said, based on what I can see and what she's told me, that she could, the statutory definition of bodily injury, serious bodily injury, could be met in the case. So yes, to answer your question, a nurse did say, yes, I believe that a couple of these elements could have happened.
Oh, okay. That
Based
changes
off,
things a little bit for me.
Yeah. Well, but that also has to go to, it's very easy the way these elements are worded to say, well, if what she said is true that happened, then her life could have been in danger. Okay. Which is true. Like any time anybody ever grabs anybody else, if it actually happened by the throat, then yes, if it's for 1 second or 1 minute, technically, yeah. Okay. You could possibly die. Right. But I'm remembering when I was a kid, and by the way, this story is not condoning anything he did, but I remember, and this was a different time, Joe, but you may have been in a situation like this too. Early 80s, Nintendos were brand new.
I was not in the early 80s.
It got me a Nintendo. Granny came through huge. I didn't even know what a Nintendo was, and so a large part of my childhood was playing Nintendo. I lived with my grandparents and most of the time with my dad, but I didn't get a lot. I got a lot of quality time with my grandparents, not a ton of quality time with my dad. My dad's a fairly old school. He considers himself a hillbilly. He's worked with his hands in constructions and trades all of his life, and he's kind of, no nonsense, get the belt out, things like, actually, he's like, I should use the belt. You guys are getting big. You're hurting my hand. But he'll give you your whippings. Here's a good example. Drove my mom crazy. I was a big kid. Jacobses are big by nature. He says, I go by Todd at home because I'm not going to go into it, because Todd, here's the rule. You're going to be bigger than most of the kids that come up with you. So you can't fight the same way they do. If somebody hits you, you hit them back once, twice as hard. If they hit you again, you hit them back once, twice as hard. After 3 times, they're not going to hit you again, right? You're going to be bigger than them. You're going to be stronger than them. They're not going to keep hitting you. Well, my mom and most people in society are like, no, it's not okay to hit anybody. My dad's like, yeah, it is. And that's what I'm teaching my son. These are the values I'm giving my son. So that's the type of guy he was. So we're sitting there, we're watching, or we're playing Nintendo, and I was probably 8 years old maybe something like that, 8, 9 years old, little guy. Dad's a big guy, big, strong guy. And I taunted him. Like I did something and I was, really annoying. I'm like, and he got pissed and he just reached over and grabbed me, and grabbed me by the throat.
Homer Simpson style.
Exactly. That's 100% it. 100%. So technically, by the letter of the law, now he did it for 2-3 seconds and then he let go. And then I didn't want to play anymore and he couldn't understand why. He's like, oh, come on, no big deal. So technically, by the letter of the law, he just committed a felony because I could have died because he put his hands around my throat. So it will be the job of the attorneys and the courts and the experts to figure out exactly what happened because at the time, the police didn't believe it happened exactly the way she said. And Harvey Steinberg's the best, and I've talked about this on the show before. Brandon Marshall, the receiver's girlfriend, made similar allegations, and they won at the trial. And nobody that I'm aware of was apologizing to Brandon Marshall when he was found not guilty. Not a mistrial or anything like that. The jurors said not guilty. He not guilty of this crime. And so earlier in the show, somebody was talking about, after we had this discussion in the first segment, they're saying I'm a bad person, I'm a scumbag. Who let the scumbag on the air? And another person, not necessarily pointing it at me, but saying, Dan, he put his hands around the throat of another woman. That's it. He should, I don't want to mischaracterize what this texter said, but I got the feeling it was like, he's got to go and he can't make a living playing football anymore. I think that's a bit, I wasn't arguing that anything he did was okay. What I'm arguing is he's entitled to due process. He's innocent until proven guilty, and he gets his day in court. And for some reason, that's controversial. That makes me a bad guy. That makes me hate women or something. Not the truth. Not the truth at all. I just believe in the Constitution. I believe in America. And I know that if we are quick to rush to judgment on one person or overreact to one person, we all magically believe, well, that's going to happen to him because he deserves it. But it'll never happen to me. Okay, if you think that's the way the system works, if you let the system trample the rights of everybody else but you, then you'll be fine. I got something to sell you. I got a bridge in... what is it, oceanfront property in Arizona for you?
I was like saying, I got some volcano insurance to sell you.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so the interesting part is I'm such a bad guy for what I was talking about, but I have, including Colin Cowherd, saying, infidelity and affairs and cheating, all that stuff, it's fine. It's fine. We'll get into that next.
Should fans and media look past a certain thing when it comes to Peyton Watson?
It's a gamble that you have to take if you're the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, and don't we have to get over the fact that it's a $25 million a year deal? I know it. The money is insane. It's stupid. It is reckless. It is foolish, okay? I get it. I hate to say it, but $25 million a year isn't that much.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040. That's 303-LAW-4040. You know what we say. Save that number in your phone. We hope you never need it. But just in case, save it in your phone because accidents do happen. And I know nobody's looking. The reason a lot of people don't call is because they feel bad. They don't want to sue anybody. They feel some sort of shame in getting some help when they were injured through no fault of their own. You don't have to feel bad at all about calling 303-LAW-4040. If you've been injured in a car accident or bitten by a dog, we're going to take care of you. We're not looking to sue your neighbors or things like that. What we're looking to do is make sure that the insurance company, we all pay for insurance under the belief that, well, when we need it, the insurance company is going to do the right thing. Well, they won't do the right thing unless we make them do the right thing because they like money. They like profit. And so the way it works is if you don't have a lawyer, they're going to get over on you. If you do have a lawyer, then you have a shot at fair compensation. We'll get you feeling better. We'll meet with you. As I said today, you get to talk to us in person. You get all of our cell phones. I took a call from a new client right today before the show. She just had a question. I answered it right there on the spot and answered it. You will get my personal cell phone if you sign up with 303-LAW-4040. Save that number in your phone. It's 303-LAW-4040.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts and springs guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Jane is a small business owner.
That's right.
And tell them what that's like, Jane.
Yeah, well, it's like a roller coaster with a lot of ups and downs, and some days things can feel like they're flying off the rails.
Yep, it's a lot. But the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business can help you manage it all. With the largest, fastest fiber-powered network designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect. Plus gig speeds with security and equipment included. All with a 5-year price lock.
Nice. So everything stays on track.
Exactly. The Total Solutions Advantage. Get started for just $60 a month for 12 months when you add wireless connect to a qualifying internet package. No one does business like Comcast Business.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and automatic payments with bank account required. $60 offer requires 300 meg internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
All right, Broncos country, listen up. Philip Lindsay here. And for stress-free summer travel, I chose Hermes Worldwide. Forget the airport chaos. Hermes Worldwide offers comfortable, reliable transportation for your airport transfers and more. They're dependable, they're professional, so you can focus on your vacation. Make your summer travel easy. Give them a call today at 303-577-7600, or you can visit them online at ridehermes.com/DenverSports. Again, that's ridehermes.com/DenverSports to book your next ride today.
The package of seeds you see at garden stores. I just bought a few. Lettuce, sunflower, and green beans. This is Jay Rickstrew for Alpine Bank, member FDIC, an equal housing lender. You may be wondering why a banker is talking about planting and not savings accounts. Well, these seeds got me thinking. Growing something new doesn't just happen in the garden. Alpine Bank can help you do that to your life too. Maybe starting a business is on your mind. Is fresh landscaping or a backyard patio something you'd like? When you have a minute, call or visit Alpine Bank. Tell us about your summer plans. Together we can plant seeds and see exciting things grow. Just like my sunflowers. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado and you.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
All right, so this comes into the you can't please everybody conversation. Joe, did you hear about this? There's a play-by-play announcer for the San Antonio Spurs. Got the job a couple years ago. Good-looking young guy, apparently, right? Looks really young. I don't know how old he is. But apparently he was in a committed relationship with a young lady. And he decided that despite having pledged exclusive commitment to her, that one of the players' sisters looked pretty good, right? And so he decided to go ahead and see where that would go. It's all part of his personal life. There's no doubting that. Well, as it turns out, just like Jonathan Cooper's former girlfriend, the girlfriends don't seem to like that very much. They seem to view that as a betrayal of the love and the sanctity of what they were building together and all that stuff. So
seems fair.
So somehow she got access to this guy's, I think, Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and she posed as though she's him. Hi, I've been with my girlfriend for 6 years, but here I am with another lady, and this is not her, right? Blah, blah, blah. So keep on following me if you think I'm a good guy, but I'm not, right? And so she did that, and then I can't remember what the other post was, but she put him on blast.
Good for her.
And she got her licks in. Well, as it turns out, the San Antonio Spurs don't like their high-profile employees getting into such situations. It doesn't reflect well on the organization. And I don't know how deep it went or what their justifications were, but they just said, we prefer to have somebody else calling our games.
Especially when it's a player's sister, like that's way too in-house. Like, it's not a good thing to do anyway, obviously, but come on, man, a player's sister? Like, that's like a player getting with a cheerleader while they're playing together. Like, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah, so it's just not a good idea. And you probably shouldn't be doing things like that. Does it mean you're the devil? No. But I heard about it I'm on like a text thread with some other guys that are in the media, and they shall remain nameless, but they're like, at least one of them was like, dude, that's BS. I think he should be fired because he sucks as a play-by-play guy, but you shouldn't get fired for having sex. What if the player introduced this guy to his sister? Is it okay then? Or whatever? And it was this incredible justification of, well, you shouldn't be fired, blah, blah, that's his opinion. And then I see, do we have the Colin Cowherd thing?
Yeah.
Here we go. Like, I guess this guy's not alone, and that it's perfectly fine to do that, and you should be able to do it whatever you want without impunity.
You can get fired in America for cheating on your girlfriend. I had no idea that was legal. That literally happened. It's a big story. You can get fired in America for cheating on not your wife, a girlfriend. Feels like you should hire an attorney. That is a crazy story.
Sue him. He should be able to hire an attorney and sue the Spurs for having standards. That's where we are in society right now. I'm a lawyer. And I'm not like, we should just be able to sue everybody. We routinely turn down cases. We get calls all the time, and I'm grateful. And a lot of times people just want to know. They're not even sure. But we'll turn cases down. It's like, we're not saying you don't have a case. We're just saying that's not a case that we want to be involved in. All right? We use the example of there's a firm in town that's suing DIA because some psycho jumped the fence and committed suicide by jumping into a jet engine, right? And they're saying, well, the passengers on that plane deserve to be compensated for what they went through, and the DIA and whatever airlines, they should have had better safety measures in place, and they believe there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a case I would take, because I don't think that our answer in society is just suing everybody for everything. And I don't know that a jury would respond all that is going to respond all that favorably to the argument as well. It was an unfortunate situation. There are some other facts, like I guess they knew he was running around out there and they didn't get to him quick enough. Whatever. But we don't take every case. Like, it has to fit for us from a values perspective. And so, like, here, it's tough because even the Supreme Court says you have to do certain things if you own a business, right? But they're generally, and I don't know the employment law in Texas, and employment law is highly specific depending on what jurisdiction you're in, but a lot of states, Colorado being one of them, saying there's no right to work one place. You don't have a right to a job anywhere. We want you to be able to get a job, and hopefully you can get a job. But if somebody owns a business, they have no obligation to hire you. They have no obligation to keep you employed. They can fire you, in fact, for no reason at all. They can get rid of you. They can have a reason. They can not have a reason, but they're allowed to fire you. And you're allowed to go work somewhere else if you don't like the way they treat their employees. Now, there's some exceptions to that, right? They can't say, well, we don't like your sexual orientation, so we're going to fire you. They can't say, well, we don't like the color of your skin, so we can fire you. You're too old, we're going to fire you. There's things called protected classes, where as a society and as a courts system, we've said, morally, we just don't think that's right. You can't just fire somebody because of if they're in one of these protected classes. But outside of that, there's broad discretion. Now, but even then, there are protections for workers, and that generally, we encourage companies to have policies and handbooks, and if they're going to hold different standards for different people, well, then they could get into some hot water. But generally, you're free to work wherever you want. And if you don't like what they're doing, how they're treating you at your job, you don't have a right to the job. You have a right to go get a different job. Now, workers have said, we also have a right, if we band together, to have, we can collectively bargain and we can get terms more favorable for us. Like, for example, the NBA. Look at what's going on in the NBA right now. Average run-of-the-mill players. Like, we're going to play in the next hour a clip about Payton Watson getting $100+ million, and the guys on the station are like, dude, don't let it hurt your feelings. That's just the way it is. So workers can organize and get better treatment, and companies, business owners can kind of run their organizations how they see fit in general. There's no right to a job. And so here, what we have people making the argument is, it's not his wife. Isn't that what Colin Cowherd said? Well, it's not his wife. He can do whatever he wants. Cheating on your girlfriend should not affect your job. Well, the Spurs feel differently. You don't have to work for the Spurs. If you're so great, I'm sure, the Yankees are going to call, or the Lakers are going to call, or the Clippers are going to call. But there's no right to it. But people coming to the defense, and I'm not saying he should never work again. Like some people are saying, Dan, you're a scumbag because Jonathan Cooper should have due process. No, he should be canceled. I don't like cancel culture. I believe in second chances and third chances, and I don't take it lightly when you say we should just strip somebody for their complete ability to work ever again because they did a bad thing, and we should punish people for the worst moments in their lives. But I also feel saddened by the fact that we're just normalizing immoral behavior, and it's fine. Infidelity and cheating on people is devastating. It's devastating. Why don't you ask Steve McNair and his family what it's like when, it's just a little cheating. Well, that didn't end up too well for him. It is not cool to cheat on people, whether it's your wife or not your wife or whatever. I'm not here to stand the moral high ground, and you be maybe one of the people listening. Some people, what do they call it? Polyamorous. They believe it's unnatural to be in a committed relationship. But if you are in a committed relationship, you have some responsibility to think about the well-being of others. And I just, having done family law, seeing the path of destruction on families and kids and everybody else, dude, it's not pretty. So to be on this crusade to vilify the Spurs for having standards, it's like you. And by the way, it's just like you, Joe said. It's just not cool. Cheating with sexual relationships, cheating on your girlfriend, and dragging players' family into it. If I'm the Spurs, do I want my play-by-play guy doing that? No, I don't. And should I be free to not have him do that? Probably. So it's fascinating to me that people rushing to the defense of this guy that knew better, had a really great job, a dream job that everybody, most of the people listening to this station, myself included, would have loved to have ever had. And he just took it for granted. He did dumb stuff, and he paid the price. Maybe he can rebound and get another job doing that. Maybe he won't. I don't know. But I just found it interesting. On 1 hour of the show, we got people saying, I'm a scumbag because I want Jonathan Cooper to have due process. And then we have other people saying, cheat on your wife and messing around with the players' families. Totally cool, man. Why can't you keep your job if you do that? I just found it interesting. If you want to weigh in on that, your shot coming up next. I will get to some texts. Final hour of today's edition of the Dan Jacobs Show. We have a text on the Champ Honda, or a chat on the Champ Honda YouTube chat line I want to get to, and then also the RamosLaw.com text line. I'll try and get to as many as we can next segment. And then I also want to talk about, as we start off the final hour of the show, people are panicking about the Nuggets, but I actually think things might be looking better. We'll get into that final hour coming up.
Coach Prime hit Big 12 Media Day looking healthy, energized, and fully locked in.
Baby, we're coming.
After beating cancer and rebuilding his strength, Deion Sanders made it clear he's ready to lead a revamped Buffs roster featuring new defensive playmakers, a maturing QB room, and a team built to compete, not just talk. Prime says he's strong and he's there to win, but what will actually happen when the Buffs take the field this fall? Denver Sports 104.3. The The Fan.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. Just got a text from Travis Valine, the owner of DeerTrailMeatCo.com. Wants public service announcement. Wants our listeners to know that they provide beef bones and freeze-dried liver treats. Says Dan, we had a Dan Jacobs Show customer who split a full beef with his kids, called this week to say the steaks and hamburger are amazing, but asked if we could hook his dog up with more bones and liver treats. We aim to please all of our customers, so the second order of dog bones and liver treats are headed to Castle Rock, no charge. That's what we call a win-win. Well, thank you, Travis Valine. See, they family-owned ranch there. They own the meat locker up in Deer Trail as well. They aim to please, and yes, they love dogs. They love your pets, so they'll hook you up, and your dogs will thank you. Your family will thank you. They'll deliver it to your front door with a money-back guarantee at a tremendous savings over the grocery stores. You're going to thank me. Go check them out, DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The hot weather is here. Stoke here from my team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Has another company told you that you need a new air conditioner? Time to throw in the challenge flag. Rocks Heating and Air offers no obligation, free second opinions. They have amazing financing options and incredible rebates too, only from the best. ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
For 90 years, Belco Credit Union has proudly called Colorado home. That's thanks to all our members who have helped us grow alongside our beautiful state. To celebrate our anniversary, Belco is offering a special low fixed rate on a new home equity choice line advance. If you've been waiting to start a new home renovation project, now's the perfect time. Go to belco.org/90 years to see full offer details. Equal housing opportunity lender. Membership eligibility required. All loans subject to approval. Belco, banking for everyone.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs.
All right, final hour of the Dan Jacobs Show on the RomoSlaw.com text line. Great to hear the voice of an angel today. Driving home from the Albert Day Parade and car show for lunch, Derek from Parallax Auto in Elizabeth. By the way, big news, Parallax Auto, congratulations. We heard you're going to be breaking ground on a beautiful brand new shop. Appreciate good luck with that. Congratulations. Here's one. Says Dan, this is from on the Sean Ponda YouTube chat at Daniel Grajeda. Hey Judge, rumor on the street is you're putting an LS in the DeLorean. I hope it's true. The stock DeLorean motors are dogs. Who cares what the purists say? Do it. You won't regret it. Yeah, breaking news. At the end of the month, she's going to go in. She's going to get the upgrade. Corvette engine. It's going to be fantastic. Gonna love it. Back over to the RamosLaw.com text line. Buffalo's Dean in Boulder says, hold on one second here. Hey, guys, I'm a huge Super Joe fan. His jersey is the only jersey I have of anyone in Denver sports history, including John Elway, and I grew up here for 50 years. After this season, and especially today, I hate to say it, but Super Joe needs to go. The grit they are lacking at the head coach position with Bednar is a reason for Bednar to be let go, and the same for Super Joe. His absence, grit and tenacity right now is sickening. They should have got the cup. Man, that's extreme. He says I'm a big Super Joe. That's like a Zach By backhanded compliment. I'm a big Super Joe fan. This is the only jersey I have. I grew up loving Super Joe. I've been in this town for 50 years. Fire Super Joe. Like, whoa, Buffalo's Dean. And then I thought he was going to talk about the Broncos. He did it right at the end of the text. So I agree overall with that the Broncos will have a hard time going 14-3 again. But if they just get in the playoffs, they can be a dangerous big-time team, even more than last year, potentially. Tell me where I'm wrong. Well, you're not necessarily wrong. If you're like the morning show and you're just like, well, I don't expect much out of them. Well, yeah, I think there's something wrong with that.
I think that's kind of the point, is that, yeah, when they get into the playoffs, they can kind of beat anybody. So therefore, our expectations should be that they beat at least a couple of teams in the playoffs.
Yeah. By the way, I did not know this. Apparently, this guy, Toby, the Spurs announcer, is a former 9 News reporter. A couple guys texted in and also said, go Rangeview. That's good. This guy texts in, hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. That's quoting the great philosopher, modern day wordsmith, Razor Ramon said that, right? That's kind of a take on, remember,
I totally know who that is, Dan, but for the folks at home, who's Razor Ramon?
Well, Razor Ramon was a big-time wrestler, part of the original New World Order, so to speak. You know
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah. You know what was funny, man? So I don't know why it came up in my feed last night. It was footage of when Nick Hogan got a DUI. He was getting arrested, right? And Hulk Hogan pulls up to the scene, gets out of this giant truck, and he's going to try and help his kid out, right? He's wearing a giant Hollywood Hogan shirt. Like, come on, dude. Like, he just gets up out of bed in the morning, rest in peace. And what am I going to wear today? Well, it's going to be something with no sleeves. We know that. Even though I'm, 70-some years old, I'm rocking the guns, which is true. And, but do you have to wear, if you're Hulk Hogan, do you need to wear Hulk Hogan stuff? Like, what are they not going to recognize you? Like, what are you doing? I thought that was interesting. Is that a faux pas?
To wear your own merchandise? Well, I don't know, Dan. Are you wearing a 303 Law 4040 hoodie right now?
Well, technically I am, but I need the help. Does Hulk Hogan need the help? I don't know. I thought that was funny. But yes, Razor Ramon, a modern-day poet. Hard work pays off, dreams come true, bad times don't last, but bad guys do. That's a takeoff of Mike Shanahan. Maybe the very final thing. When he got fired, he did a post-firing press conference, and he said, tough times don't last, but tough guys do. And he believed that, and he believed he was going to go on, and he got another job and all that stuff. I admired that. He's there at a low point, staring adversity in the eye, and he just had a good perspective on it. There's another thing that has to do with that. You're mentioning the 40s, right? And World War. It says, good times make weak men. Weak men make bad times. Bad times or hard times make good men, tough men. Tough men make good times.
Fast times make Ridgemont High.
Good times make weak men. So it's like a cycle, right? Things get good and we all get a little soft. We all turn into, I guess we need to look no further than the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets, right? The Denver Nuggets struggled forever. They finally broke through. They win a championship. They get soft. So we're just waiting now for them to get back into strong and get through the tough times and start winning again. But yeah, a couple people there saying the 9 News reporter. Let's see here.
That's awesome. See, a little bit of inside baseball, folks. Today's the worst possible day for me to not be able to see the text line, because I would have loved that, and I would have responded to everyone that mentioned that. So thank you, texters.
Okay, yeah. Leave the amputee again. He's got beef with you again. See, everybody's wanting to, not everybody, but quite a few people want to take the fact that I want everybody in this country to have due process to mean that we condone violence against women, which is just simply not true. You know that. Do you think you're advancing anything that you're persuading anybody, or you're advancing anything by saying that we condone people beating women? We've never said that. We never said that was true. We never said it was no big deal. What I personally had said was he deserves his day in court just like everybody else. And if you don't think he deserves his day in court, don't call me, by the way, when they come for you. What's the adage? I don't know it exactly, but they came for the Jews and I wasn't Jewish, so I didn't do anything. Then they came for the blacks and I wasn't black, so I didn't do anything. And it keeps going down the line. And then they came for me and there was nobody to speak up. It's real, folks. Our nation, this great democracy, is an experiment, and if you take it for granted, you will lose it. And so I'm not one of those people that says, well, the law, we're a nation of laws, and it should apply to everybody but that guy's guilty. No, that's not the way it works. Okay? So if you have nothing to hide, you should just submit to the voices of the law. That's not the way it works.
I mean, I hope that he's guilty, but he's guilty. I hope that he's not guilty.
You hope that he's guilty? Wow. Well, thank you.
I hope he's not guilty. But if he is, then obviously she deserves justice. We're just going to have to wait and see.
100%. That's all I said was he's gonna go through the process. He deserves to go through that process. By the way, what if he's found not guilty on, like I believe he will be? I think those charges will get dismissed either by the court or by the DA. But the notion that, by the way, incredibly damaging to his reputation. Highly defamatory if he's actually not guilty of it. But everybody just rushed to judgment on violating the, quote, no contact order, which didn't exist. What if he's not guilty of that? Doesn't matter. He touched her. That's not cool, man. Like, that's not cool. That's damaging to his livelihood, his reputation, his family. He gets his day in court. That's it. That doesn't make me a bad person for saying that. It doesn't make Joe a bad person. That doesn't mean we're condoning domestic violence against men or women.
No, because what if he is guilty? Then I'm going to say they probably should, do something about it. I don't know. I don't have all the facts, but if he's guilty, then I'm not going to stand by a guy like that. I've said horrible things about Tyreek Hill for years.
Yeah, but this narrative here, by the way, you don't seem like a very good person if you spew vile hatred at people in defense of women or whatever you're believing. Like, that doesn't make you more noble to spew vile hatred, defamatory things that are not true, twist people's words into something they absolutely didn't say. That doesn't give you the moral high ground. That makes you a hypocrite. That's all it does. So, we're going to move on from that. Somebody's asking, Dan, you watching the McGregor fight tonight? That's from our resident chef, Braden Quinn. Is it free?
I think it's on, I want to say like Paramount or Prime or Peacock. One of the streaming services.
If you have one of those, okay, so it's free that way? Yeah.
If you subscribe to one of the services, I think it's free, but you probably have to have that subscription.
Yeah, I think I do. So yeah, I'll watch it. Thanks for reminding me. Somebody here says, you bringing up good memories, Dan? I saw Shanny at CB and Potts the day he was fired. God rest CB and Potts. They're all gone right now, I think, right?
Really? That's one of those restaurants that, you forget that it's not around anymore. Kind of like, was it Bennigan's?
Yeah. Bennigan's I loved, man. I loved Bennigan's. And they were trying to make a comeback, but the Monte Cristo, the one place, it's very hard in life to be able to go to a place where it's socially acceptable to get meats and cheese wrapped in dough, in French toast dough, and deep fried, and then sprinkled in sugar, and to be able to do that in peace without just getting judged. And, you could do that at Bennigan's, man. You could just do that and you'd be fine. By the way, because that was the Irish place, right? Yeah, Bennigan's was Irish. Yeah.
Sounds like it, yeah.
I think I did have a Monte Cristo when I was over in Ireland. It wasn't as good as Bennigan's, but yeah, Bennigan's was great. All right, so I wanted to get into this conversation. People are panicking about the Nuggets because we're getting pretty deep into the Nuggets postseason here. Or excuse me, off-season, not postseason, off-season. The Nuggets postseason did not get very deep. In fact,
we're in the postseason.
Yeah, they're in the off-season. And initially we heard they were going to make a bunch of moves to get under the luxury tax so they could dodge the repeater tax. And for a long time, that was the thinking. And then we got a week or so of what's been now the LeBron James, even though we're now viewed as kind of a very, very long shot to maybe land LeBron. But that got us pretty excited for a week, something like that. And so we thought, well, maybe they will go all in. And maybe the Rockies are just going to bite the bullet and pay the largest luxury tax in the history of the sport by a long shot. Well, it turns out I don't think that's going to happen. So now I listen to James. I love James. We'll talk to him tomorrow. And I'm listening to certain guys on the station, and they're panicking. And they're throwing everything they can against the wall to see what will stick as far as, criticizing the Nuggets. And we got to trade Jokic. And, boy, the MPJ deal was a bad deal. Look how that's aged, which is just revisionist history. By the way, if you didn't kill the deal at the time, then you have some apologizing to do, right? This is one of those situations where James or Zach will go, whoa, we have new information, so I'm allowed to change my opinion. No, you can't do that. All you're doing is second guessing. That's not cool. If you're paid for your opinions, you give your opinions and you stick by your opinions. You don't scapegoat your opinions. But no, the MPJ deal was crucial for the health of the future of the franchise. And yes, it doesn't matter. What they're citing is, well, Cam Johnson was disappointing this year. Well, the point was never to get Cam Johnson. We were hopeful that he was going to be a good defender and a good three-point shooter and all this stuff. It didn't really work out, but he's going to play a key part in getting the financial health of this franchise back in order. And I would
argue, too, that Cam Johnson really was better than a lot of people give him credit for. He definitely struggled at the beginning of the season, but he had a higher three-point percentage than Porter. Granted, Porter shot way more bad threes than Cam Johnson did, but I don't think Cam Johnson was a disappointment.
Well, you're entitled to that opinion. That means you condone domestic violence, but you can have that opinion about Payton Watson. No, I'm just teasing. Or about Cam Johnson. I'm teasing. So I disagree. I think he was a little bit, we were hoping for a little bit more, but the contract is what's favorable. Like, he's got an expiring contract and they're going to be able to move it, and it's going to help them get under the luxury tax, and they absolutely need to. Now, by the way, I was going to say, I have it on the rundown. Nice flip-flop by Mike Evans. I'm proud of Mike, because for a month there, Mike Evans is like, well, we just got to run it back. Who cares? It's not our money. The Kroenke should spend $200-some million.
Let's run it back.
And we should run it back. They have a responsibility to pay $250 million just in taxes to run back a team that couldn't get out of the first round. What? Okay. And push us into repeater tax territory, which we can't get out of for 2 more years after that. That's what we should do. Okay. Now he flip-flopped. I heard him, I guess Friday. I guess yesterday. He's saying, yeah, no, I don't know if he admitted he changed his position. I think he kind of did, but he changed his position. He's like, yeah, they're not good enough. Why would we do that? Even if it's not our money, why? right? And I agree. Like you shouldn't be doing that. Now, I did hear something interesting on one of the shows talking about the Payton Watson contract, and a lot of people are just nervous about $25 million, if that's what it winds up being. Although I think it's trending down. Like, why has he not gotten a big time offer yet? Like, if he was going to get $30 million, because for a while they're like, he's going to get $30 million. The amount of teams that can give him $30 million a year, not a lot. There's only maybe 2 or 3, and it doesn't look like any of them are in a rush to do it.
Yeah, there was a report that he was asking for $30 million, and I don't see who can afford to pay that. And like you said, if he was going to get $30 million, he would have already got offered $30 million. Like if he invented Facebook, he would have invented Facebook.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I think it's going to be even more manageable. And I do see the point, like, what do we care? It's not our money. And the point that they were making here on the station was, it sounds like a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad.
It's a gamble that you have to take if you're the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, and don't we have to get over the fact that it's a $25 million a year deal? I know it. The money is insane, okay? It's stupid. It is reckless. It is foolish, okay? I get it. And I can see why, some folks are like, man, Payton Watson, $25 million a year? I mean, that no. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but $25 million a year isn't that much. I know, and it's something you got to wrap your mind around as a basketball fan, as a Nuggets fan. But when you're looking at 5-year, $125 million deals for guys like Christian Braun and Payton Watson in their early to mid-20s, those are actually good value deals. They really are. They're the kind of deals that could age really, really well if these guys turn out to be the real deal.
Yeah, that's the going rate.
It's going rate.
That's the price of doing business right there. I mean, that's just what it is.
I agree with that somewhat, except for the thing that does bother me is what they said right at the end, and then what Josh Dover is also saying in a promo we're running here on the station, right?
I'm a wuss.
Evan says, if they turn out to be good players. So, yeah, you're giving $125 million or $100 million in the hopes that that Payton Watson's going to be a good player, just like you did with Christian Braun, which you could say, well, that's just the cost of doing business, but also there have been points in this offseason where the Christian Braun contract has been called one of, if not the worst in the NBA, with what they're getting out of him, what they got out of him last year for what they paid him, and borderline untradeable. So the fact that you have to gamble that they're gonna pay off is a problem. And what Dover's saying in the promo is, and I've been saying this for a little while now, is so he gets $125 million for what? 40 games? A 40-game sample size? Because he wasn't a very good player the first. Did he have? He had 3 years prior to this year, right? I think this was his 4th year.
Yeah, him and Christian Braun were drafted same year.
Yeah, so he didn't get a lot of opportunities, but the opportunities he got, he didn't shoot the ball very well. He just wasn't that effective. This year he got a lot more opportunities, and he played a lot better for, maybe 40 games. And then he got hurt. He had it was recurring, right? The article I saw on DenverSports.com is like it's a recurring injury. Well, just like Aaron Gordon has basically the same recurring injury. So I got to gamble $125 million on a guy that has a recurring injury as a very small sample size of playing very well. And while his defensive effort is crucial and not reflected in the stats, he's still a guy that averages for his best season is 14 points a game. And a handful of rebounds, and he happened to 1 year out of 4 actually shoot the ball well from 3. To me, it's a little bit of a gamble. And as you said, Joe, that's a gamble I don't love to take. Had they not gambled that with Christian Braun already, well, that'd be different, right?
Yeah, but there's also something to be said about not being gun shy. Like, just because you drafted Paxton Lynch does not mean that you don't draft Josh Allen. Like, I'm not saying that Peyton Watson is the equivalent of Josh Allen in this situation, but if you really think that Peyton Watson deserves that contract, then you pay it and you trade away the guys that you don't think deserve that contract. So just because you gave it to Christian Brown doesn't mean you shouldn't give it to Peyton Watson, but that's why everyone's afraid, is that Christian Brown got this big contract and then all of a sudden he did not play very well. So I think that's also part of the reason why Peyton Watson is asking for so much, because he might not be able to ask for that much again.
Well, if he has confidence in himself, you bet on yourself, right? And then you can get the next. By the way, if things go well, this is a drop in the bucket, because they're acting like he is a potential, like, if he plays up to that contract, he's worth $200 million.
Yeah,
or
then he'll be
$300
underpaid
million.
in 2 years.
Yeah, he gets paid in 2 years, 2 or 3 years. I mean, right now, his best comp is Aaron Gordon, who's getting $32 million. And $32 million in the NBA today in 2 or 3 years is probably $40 to $50 million. So he'll make better money if he plays well. It's just, you don't know. Like, you want to. Heck, didn't Christian Brown have a pretty good, solid entire third year? Like, from the gate, he came out and it was his first year as a starter, obviously, and he came out and he played really well, and the team thought he earned the contract, and they gave it to him. We don't even have that. We don't even have, like, one good year with Peyton Watson. I trust me, I want him on the team. I don't want to break the bank for him when he's an unknown, commodity still, from both a health perspective. And then, by the way, where do you put him? I guess you're just going to, at some point they are going to get rid of Cam Johnson. That's going to happen. They have to. The Rockies need to get under the luxury tax line, and as fans, you should want them to, because the penalties for getting into the repeater tax are not worth the reward you get of overpaying a squad that got humiliated in the playoffs last year. Just running it back. As a fan, you should not want that. It's not good for the overall health of the franchise. And if we want to try and get Nikola Jokic one more ring, that is not on your, that's what we want. We want them to get their financial house in order so they can go out there and get what they need. All right, hey, this was a fun topic. How would you react if you were just rolling down the street and Sean Payton, coach of the Broncos, rolled up to you and started hurling insults?
That wasn't real smart.
How would you feel? All right, we'll get to that next.
The conversation around the Nuggets restricted free agent is heating up. But is there a real question that needs to be asked before a deal is signed?
I need more proof from Peyton Watson. Honestly, I'm terrified to give this guy a $100 million contract. Terrified for the Denver Nuggets and me as a fan to watch him do what Christian has done. With Peyton Watson, I go, all right, so what do I have, a 40-game sample size and I'm supposed to give you $100 million? Yeah, I'm worried about that.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
It's no secret that the checkout line feels a lot heavier. If those daily essentials are ending up on a credit card, those double-digit interest rates are quietly draining your bank account. If that debt is starting to feel heavy, you're not alone. And if you're a homeowner, you've likely looked at your mortgage rate and thought, I can't touch that. With American Financing's Smart Equity Loan, you don't have to. It allows you to wipe out high-interest debt and lower your monthly overhead while keeping your primary mortgage intact. It's a surgical strike against debt. Unlike a fluctuating HELOC, the Smart Equity Loan is a fixed-rate loan, giving you a predictable monthly payment. At American Financing, there are never any upfront fees to find out what you qualify for. Guys, talk to a salary-based mortgage consultant today. Experts who are paid to help you save, not sell you more than you need. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Summer should be a time of joy for children, but Wish kids often miss out due to their illness, creating a dark chapter during a time that should be filled with sunshine and memories. A wish from Make-A-Wish Colorado can change everything for these children, giving them the strength and hope they need to persevere in their fight against critical illness. My name is Carrie Fletcher. I'm part of the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC. Today, Alpine Bank hopes you'll decide to make a life-changing impact in the life of Colorado Wish kids by supporting Make-A-Wish Colorado. There are currently more than 450 Colorado kids with critical illnesses who are waiting for a life-changing wish, and 110 more kids will be diagnosed this summer. You can help make their wishes come true. Visit wish.org/Colorado to help Make-A-Wish Colorado grant some memorable wishes this summer.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, it's Mike Evans with all these Bluebird days in Colorado. Enjoy the view through energy-efficient windows from Bluebird Windows and Doors. Through July, it's their Buy More, Save More event. Save up to 20% on your window and door projects. And when you mention you heard it from me, you'll save an extra 5%. Bluebird's family-owned, serving the Front Range for over a decade with windows, doors, and siding built for Colorado's harsh climate. Financing is available. Visit gobluebirdco.com. Bluebird Windows and Doors. Make today a Bluebird day.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
Oh, I just got some heartbreaking news. It started with, I got a little joy in my heart, right? I'm checking the email before during the break. My Broncos tickets just got sent over, right? So I'm like, yeah, my tickets. I mean, looked at the schedule, you know what I mean? The home games and whatnot. And so I download the tickets. And I knew they were playing the Dolphins. For some reason, I thought it was on the road. Dolphins, of course, I hate to admit it, but yes, the Dolphins are my team. For better or for worse, NFL-wise, the Dolphins are my team. I have much better results cheering for the Miami Hurricanes. But, I'm not a flip-flopper like, most of my friends here. Just teasing. So I look, the Dolphins game is December 6th. And I am going to be out of town. I've never been to a Broncos-Dolphins game. I can't remember the last time they were here. And I haven't been to a Dolphins game I don't know if I've ever been to a Dolphins game, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever been to a Miami Dolphins game. I was going to go.
I feel shocked.
To the Dolphins were going to play the Raiders, I think the first season of Allegiant. And I had already checked in for my flight, and it was during somewhere in that pandemic range, and I got COVID. Had to not go. And so this is my perfect opportunity. I'm not going to be able to go. I feel much sadness and shame. All right, I'll get some more RamosLaw.com texts in here. By the way, CBN Pods does live up in Fort Collins. That was always kind of a Fort Collins place, but we had one down here. Actually, not too far from the station, and I know some of them have closed up. Now, this one we may have hit a flashpoint, or just one of those topics you never know that it's going to blow up the way it has, because I mentioned the Bennigan's Monte Cristo, and right away I'm getting text after text on the Monte Cristo. Apparently, Bubba's 33 on Parker Road has a very good Monte Cristo sandwich, which I guess I've heard good things about that place. I've never been there. I've heard good things about it, though, and I probably should. It's kind of somewhat on my part of town. But somebody was talking about that, and then somebody says, the Bennigan's Monte Cristo, I loved that sandwich. Yeah, it's an interesting topic of things that you just feel guilty eating, but you can't help yourself. Like when I was I fought the good fight for a long time. I was in Ireland a couple weeks back, and they had something called battered sausages, which are exactly what you think they are. They're sausage, big old like bratwurst-sized sausages, and they give you 2 of them, and they make up this batter, kind of like a beer batter, and they dip them in that, and they deep fry them, and then they give you a cup, not like a little ketchup cup, but like a full-size cup of the thickest brown gravy you've ever had in your life, so you can dip these deep-fried sausages in the gravy. It's not something we're supposed to be doing as human beings, but I fought it for like a week, and then I gave in. I tried them.
Sounds like a way better version of a corn dog. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I did like corn dogs better, actually. It was good, but yeah, I'll probably never do that again. You know, like Long John Silver's. We should not be eating Long John Silver's. At one point, it was called like the most disliked fast food restaurant in America.
Speaking of restaurants you don't see around anymore.
Yeah, like I think there's one left in Greeley and like one in Alamosa. Every time I go see my daughter in Greeley, we're getting Long John Silver's, and I'm getting the family pack, and I'm bringing it home, and I'm air frying Long John Silver's for a few days. I love Long John Silver's. You laughed really hard. You don't like the Long John Silver's?
I don't know if I've ever been there.
What?
I mean, I've seen them around, but yeah, you see like the idea of like a fast food place that specializes in fish is not something that I endeavored to try.
Well, but they had the chicken and the hush puppies. And then for a while there, they're like, we're just because the batter was so good and greasy that like little bits would fall off and start swimming in the oil, and they would just scoop that up and dump that in the box too, and you'd just be eating fistfuls of greasy batter by the handful or spoonful. And,
okay, that sounds pretty good.
And then they did the onion rings. They're like, how can we're on our last throes. We're on the death throes of this franchise. What can we do? Just put it on everything. By the way, that's what Bennigan's did too. They made like Monte Cristo egg rolls and Monte Cristo this and that. And they were like, that's the only thing we got, man. And it just didn't work. Didn't save it. And now Chili's did the opposite, because Chili's, the best thing at Chili's was that type of chicken crisper. And for a while there, they did nothing but chicken crispers. And now they've gone away from that, and the only chicken crispers they have suck.
I'm pretty sure Chili's is about the baby back ribs, Dan.
They had the song. Yeah, they did have the song. We went last week. But here's the weird thing. Chili's is cool amongst young people now. It's like the hip place for teenagers and college kids. It's very weird. Our society is very weird. But anyway, I don't know. Foods like that. You guys got foods like that out there, that the guilty pleasure, so to speak. You even as you're eating it, you feel a little guilty. Like the Monte Cristo, because a lot of people out there are like, I love the Monte Cristo. And pretty much anytime you saw a Monte Cristo, you're going to, you felt kind of an obligation to get it, because when else are you going to get one ever again? Maybe it's possible the rest of us go our entire lives without ever experiencing a Monte Cristo again, because they're a dying breed. So aren't we duty bound every single time we see one to get it?
I think so, Dan.
Yeah. By the way, somebody else saying, I like a Jimmy Dean sausage wrapped in a pancake. Yeah, they sell those. They're breakfast corn dogs. They're fantastic. They're just Jimmy Dean sausages, which Jimmy Dean sausage is fantastic. Almost as good as Deer Trail Meat Co. sausage. Not as fresh as Deer Trail. But yeah, then it's got a sweet pancake around it. It's fantastic. You throw it in the air fryer. It's delicious. And then you start your day off with a good healthy meal. That type thing.
All part of a balanced breakfast.
All right. Speaking of lighthearted topics, did you see this week, Joe? Apparently, this little thing that Sean Payton was doing was at some point, I don't remember where it was, but he's driving down the road, and if he would see you wearing like Raiders gear or Chargers gear or something like that, he would stop, roll down the window, and go, "You suck!"
That's amazing.
And then keep driving. And people would be like, wait, what? Did Sean Payton, did the coach of the Broncos just roll up to me and say I suck?
God, I hope that's true.
So that's that's apparently what he does. He kind of rolls that way. What would you do, Joe, if you're just minding your own business, you're walking down the street, saving orphans and helping the poor, and Sean Payton just rolled up to you and said, "You suck"?
I would love it. I would probably start laughing really hard and immediately start throwing insults back at him. Like, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. Or, "Where's Lot M? Bring back Lot M. The mysterious Lot M." So, yeah.
Let me tailgate longer.
Yes. Oh, did they not let you tailgate long enough?
Oh, they've been closing, they've been opening the lots later and later for years now. We used to get in there at like 8 o'clock in the morning and kind of get into our spots, and now they don't open until I think it's 4 hours before the game. It's not enough time.
What do you mean it's not enough time? That's a long time.
No, it takes time to set up and time to break down,
true.
and you have to walk to the stadium because we are not close. You want more time to be able to hang out, but I understand why. Like there's less time to get really, really inebriated and ruin some security guard's day.
Yeah, although the people that are doing that, getting really inebriated, by the way, I sounded inebriated when I just said that. That's weird. But they're going to find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's why for them, they call it pre-gaming, right? Well, we got to get our pre-game on, and then they get, hammered, sloppy drunk, but they're going to do that no matter what. Like, they're not going to, "Oh, crap, I can't drink till I get to the tailgate." They'll just drink before the tailgate. People, those people are going to do that.
Yep, they're going to ruin it for everybody regardless.
Yeah, and then, by the way, the other thing was, I'm sure this didn't go, they didn't take this too seriously, but apparently, being the good, nice, humble guy that he is, Sean Payton floated the idea that he would take a step back and allow Bill Belichick to coach our beloved Denver Broncos.
I love him.
Just so he could catch John Shula and get the all-time wins record. He's like, "Yeah, we'll let Belichick coach for 15 games or 15 wins, so it could take 2 or 3 years, but and then I'll step back and go back to being the coach."
They had that all last year, Dan. We won, 15 games.
Yeah, well, undoubtedly Belichick, he's such a great coach that he definitely would have done that.
If Belichick's the head coach, they beat the Patriots, right?
That one they might, actually, even with Jarrett Stidham, because that's kind of his thing, like, winning more with less and figuring them out. And I don't think it would have been that hard to figure out the Patriots in that game in particular. I actually would have liked our chances, and I don't think Bill Belichick takes the points off the board, foregoes points, foregoes an opportunity to go up 10-0 over the Patriots to gamble and then end up losing.
Sean Payton says go for it, and Belichick just stares him down.
Yes. Yeah. So he might have, although I doubt he would have gotten us there. He may have gotten us to the Super Bowl had he had the reins. All right. Now, we do have the easy like Sunday morning edition of the Dan Jacobs Show coming up tomorrow, but your final chance to get into today's edition of the show, we'll get to that next.
The Colorado Rockies just landed 10 players on ESPN's top 100 trade candidates, tied for the most in baseball. And suddenly the deadline might run straight through Denver. From Mickey Moniak's hot bat to Antonio Senzatella's breakout as a shutdown reliever, contenders are circling, and the new DePodesta-led front office faces its first real test. Will the Rockies cash in their chips and accelerate the rebuild, or play it safe? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Spine One. Let me ask you a question. You live with back pain, neck pain. Well, my guys at Spine One, they're an emergency room for back pain with same-day appointments. They'll see you and they'll get the journey started. And that's exactly what I did. Whether it's chronic pain, acute pain, work-related, sports-related, doesn't matter. All you got to do is pick up the phone and start your journey just like I did toward pain-free. 303-367-2225. That's 303-367-BACK. Or as always, you can find them online at SpineOne.com.
On BritBox, there is a place where stories twist like cobblestone roads, grand manners hide secrets, and stakes are higher than seaside cliffs. Find places worth getting lost in on BritBox. Watch new series like The Other Bennett Sister from the world of Jane Austen and A Woman of Substance starring Golden Globe winner Brenda Blethyn. If you want to get away, you're in the right place. Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Free trial at BritBox.com.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Ductworks. Summertime is all about staying cool and comfortable. But what about the air flowing through your home? You rely on your AC all summer long. Make sure the air that's circulating in your home is clean and fresh. Your air ducts collect dust, debris, and allergens year-round, and summertime airflow keeps it moving throughout your house. It's one of the most overlooked parts of your home, but it impacts the air you breathe every single day. That's why I trust the professionals at Ductworks. They're personable. When you call, you're always going to talk to a live person. They're educated guys, and Ductworks is Colorado's top-rated air duct cleaning company, trusted by thousands of 5-star reviews. Before your AC works through another Colorado summer, make sure the air you're breathing is clean. Call them for a free estimate today. 303-425-0985. That's 303-425-0985 or online at ductworks.com.
303-425-0985.
At 10 a.m., 10 to 1 tomorrow. Final thoughts from the RamosLaw.com text line. Joe says, quick, someone DoorDash y'all some Long John Silvers. I don't think that's possible. Like, there aren't any. There was one up on 120th, and I took my daughter there a year or two ago, and then there was like a brawl, of course. Some lady was just incensed that the Starry machine was out of syrup and just threw a fit and started throwing things, across the counter and all that. Oh man, it was brutal. My daughter didn't like it, but I don't think I can go to DoorDash and get Long John Silver's because there's none in the metro area.
Well, according to Google, the closest Long John Silver's is 16 miles away in Commerce City.
But I don't know if that one's still open. I thought that was the one I was talking about. It might be. Somebody else says, I cooked at Long John Silver's. Cleaning up the grease after clothes was disgusting, and it has the little barf emoji. Yeah, I worked at KFC, and they had a lot of grease because it was fried chicken. We had we called it a potato gun. There was some sort of tankless hot water heater that just shot out scalding hot water. And it was a big, it was almost like a fire hose, and had a nozzle like a gun on the end, and we just every night sprayed the floor, did that. Now, I did have the most disgusting experience I think I've ever maybe seen live. So my buddy, I've mentioned this on the show before. His name is
Tell us all about it, Dan.
Vernon Jones Jr. He happens to be a black man. Tell me if you've seen anybody tougher than this in person. So we had the mac and cheese, right? It comes in like a half catering pan, and it goes into an oven. It comes out scalding. It's like lava. It comes out, right? So, and we're supposed to put on the big welder's gloves to take things out of the oven, or there may have been a special tool for the mac and cheese, but he just used wet rags, right? Tough guy. He just grabs him with a wet rag. Well, the pan crumpled, and liquid hot magma, hot cheese, leaked onto his forearm. And he didn't even say anything. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, oh my God. And he just calmly sets down this scalding hot pan of mac and cheese. The whole while, lava is burning his arm off. And he takes a wet rag and just wipes it off, just calmly wipes it off. And his black skin goes away and it's just pink flesh. And I'm like, we got to get a doctor. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, no, for me. I'm like, I'm going to get sick. I'm going to pass out into the fryer. I'm like, dude, you got to go to a doctor, man. He's like, no, it's good. He goes over to the first aid kit, sprays some Bactine on it, and puts a Band-Aid on it. And this was not like a little Band-Aid, it was crazy. And we ended up working together like 20 years later. I'm like, Vern, I don't even know if you remember that. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's right here. He has it still has a giant scar. Just disgusting. But, dude, I would be screaming like a little, you know what.
That's crazy. Well, and that he's telling himself, you can't make any kind of movements or he's going to drop the giant pan of molten hot magma cheese, as you put it. He had to not do anything or it was going to get so much worse. The question I want to ask to people is do you think you could hold on to that big thing with your forearm being just burnt to a crisp and not shake it and spill more? That's crazy.
Yeah. He was just tough, man. That's probably one of the biggest single acts of toughness I've ever seen in my life. Couple more food texts. There used to be a food truck called Moon Times Crepes. They sold a Monte Cristo crepe, which is fantastic. I would like to try that. I'd try it. If you like Long John Silver's, you should check out Captain D's next time you're in Colorado Springs. There used to be one on Havana. I never did there. I'm loyal. I'm loyal to a fault.
Brand loyalty.
Yeah. The hot, greasy, battered. It's sad to say, but Long John Silver's is one of the few places I ever would eat fish. Because first off, it didn't taste fishy. It just tasted, you dip it in the tartar sauce. It was delicious. But really, you go for their chicken tenders are insane. They're just the best there are.
Okay. I mean, I like fish. I just don't trust processed fast food anything. And I feel like fish is especially untrustworthy, but that could just be me.
Oh, so you don't, I don't know if we've ever gotten into this. You don't eat fast food?
No, I eat fast food, but I'm not going to get the fillet of fish at McDonald's. I'm not going to get fast food fish. That just feels,
okay.
That feels like a bad idea.
Yeah. Fast food, seafood. Yeah. Michael in the 817 writes, what about eating a hamburger at the hamburger stand off Broadway in Inglewood, Colorado, getting doubles or their chili cheese cheeseburgers? Yeah. If I see a hamburger stand or a corn dog from hamburger stand, yeah, I've been known to be a little partial to a little hamburger stand action.
Especially that hamburger stand, it's such a pain pulling in and out of. It's kind of wonderful how it's the fear of death as you pull out of the hamburger stand. It adds to the deliciousness of the chili cheeseburger.
Just Grill in Aurora. I've been there. Actually, in Cheddar's on Arapahoe, I guess they both have Monte Cristos, but Bennigan's was the best. That's Mike from the mean streets of Aurora. Let me see if I could read this. Oh, no, I can't read that. It's political. By the way, I was talking to a guy, signing him up this week, and it was funny because I remember talking about it on the show last week. Because I don't remember. I think you were here, Joe. You and I were on 4th of July, right?
Yes.
And I did this segment where I said, hey, I know it's not fashionable, but I'm grateful and to be an American. And I know we don't want to be patriotism is, not in vogue right now, but I think we're incredibly lucky and I'm grateful. And I'm grateful to be here on the air and all that stuff. And so I'm talking to this guy. He calls 303 Law 4040 and he goes to say something. And then he goes, oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I know you're MAGA. Because I even said it during the show. There's a large section of the audience that will come in and they'll be like, you libtard, you suck. And then there's another section that's like, you MAGA, I know you're MAGA. Blah, blah, blah. And so, I've never divulged my political, well, I shouldn't say never, but never on this station, because it goes back to like the Spurs guy getting fired. My company doesn't want us talking politics. And so I don't talk politics. By the way, I'm also not allowed to as the judge. So it doesn't matter to me. I'm not allowed to do that anyway. But Bonneville, if I came on here and said, you know what, I'm the most qualified guy on the station to talk politics, or posted on my social media, they could say, that's awesome. You just don't work here anymore. They have the right to do
who
that.
I think you should vote for?
Yeah, right? So anyway, but that was funny. Some guy says, I'm sorry, Dan, I know you're mad. I'm like, what? I didn't say that. Good news for you. Dan, Lot M is not dead yet. On life support, though. Batman in Centennial. Well, but it's not available anymore, right? Like, were you guys, you were able to use it, Joe, last season, but now you don't have the right to use it anymore, correct, or what?
I feel like it's one of those where they may end up giving us the ability to at like the last second, but as of now, no. We were offered a pass to, I believe, Lot H. So come on down to Lot H, folks,
right.
if you want to come party with us.
Yeah. Crown Burger on Colorado Boulevard, double burger with pastrami.
I love Crown Burger. That place is amazing.
I do love Crown Burger, and I think they have onion rings. The only thing I don't like about that place has nothing to do with the food. It almost has a little bit of the soup Nazi feel to it. Like you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. It's an honor for you to be getting food here. Shut up. It's going to take forever, and you get what we give you. And it just kind of a rude vibe about frequenting, like it's a privilege to get Crown Burger. I'm like, come on. It's a greasy spoon type thing. But
I don't know. I used to get Crown Burger for everybody I worked with, so I was spending a good bit of money, so I never really got the vibe that they weren't happy to see me.
Okay, well, anyway, maybe it's just me. Arthur Treasure's Fish and Chips was the best. I've seen them before. I never had them. I'm not a big fish guy. Rico's and Frank's, the Pizza King on South Broadway, the best. All right. So yeah, all right, we finished up the show with some food. We'll be back at it again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Of course, somebody will be hosting the Cello and Kyle and Cello show. It's a Sunday, so probably not Kyle and Cello, but somebody will be there doing the Kyle and Cello show. Hopefully it is Kyle and Cello. I'm just giving them a hard time, but you could check them out at 7 a.m. and then the Easy Like Sunday morning edition of the Dan Jacobs Show. By the way, you didn't catch the whole show. Go ahead and watch the whole show on our YouTube channel. Get our numbers up throughout the day. You can keep pulling up the Dan Jacobs Show here on our Denver Sports 104.3 YouTube channel. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right, you are wrong. He's reading your checks, he's taking your calls. It's the Dan Jacobs Show, and he'll decide what the law will allow. Making your day the only way he knows how, by giving you the facts, cutting through the BS now. He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right and you are wrong.
With the Broncos bringing back J.K. Dobbins and drafting Jonah Coleman, is there an important piece that fans could be sleeping on?
It just seems like RJ Harvey's been the forgotten man in all this. There were things he did last year that maybe didn't blow you away. He was a rookie. I'm one that refuses to bury a guy until I see how he comes back for that second year. Because for a lot of these rookies, that rookie season is just one big whirlwind.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Your coffee would never get cold. Your flight would always be on time. And your mattress would always respond to you and your unique sleep needs. Sleep Number mattresses are designed to respond to your body and shift with your changing life, helping you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
Joint pain is awful when you're the person who is fighting through it, but I'm betting you aren't the only ones affected. Maybe you love someone who struggles with joint pain. You see it. You see what they don't say, what they've slowly stopped doing. It's July. The days are long. The light hangs around. Time to be outside, moving, playing, living, and you're sitting it out. Hey, it's Mike Evans. Let's talk about getting that life back, because at QC Kinetics, that's what's happening every day. People who are stuck in that cycle of pain in their hips, knees, shoulders, and back, they're finally stepping out of it with regenerative treatments done right in their office. No surgery, long recovery, or putting life on hold. Just real relief. The inflammation eases and the pain lets go. We hear it all the time, not just from patients, but from the people around them. He's back. She's herself again. So if this sounds like you or someone you love, go find out what's possible. QC Kinetics offers a free consultation to see if you're a candidate. Call 303-900-8986, 303-900-8986, with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and the Springs. It's QC Kinetics.
Progressive presents the Museum of You.
We begin our tour with a unique piece, a relic from the early big screen television era. Remarkable. Next, we find a juicer, which historians believe has only ever been used once. And finally, compact discs from the emo era. A rare find indeed.
Some things should be history, but until then, you could protect what's important to you and save by bundling your auto insurance with a renter's policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
What if I could tell you when an earthquake would hit? Unfortunately, I can't. But shouldn't you be ready anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Manage the link between your type 2 diabetes and heart disease at nodiabetesbyheart.org.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Marty Hausberger. After squandering 5 championship points in the second set, Linda Noskova got it back together in the third to take the Wimbledon championship over fellow Czech Karolina Mahova. Final was 6-2, 5-7, 6-3. It's Noskova's first Grand Slam title. The Pirates shocked the Brewers behind the bat of a rookie today.
3-1. Swinging a fly ball. This is deep. Way back. Grand Slam! Ace Merlin Valdez goes the other way. And the rookie has driven in 6. The Pirates have the lead over the Brewers. 7-6.
Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan on the call. 7-6 the final. Pirates Brewers game 2 now on ESPN Radio. The White Sox selected UCLA shortstop Rock Chalowski with the first pick of the MLB amateur draft today. Chalowski was a Golden Spikes finalist at UCLA, 21 homers, 60 RBIs in his junior season. White Sox are ahead of the A's right now in the 7th, 1-0. The A's also made some news today by placing slugger Nick Kurtz on the 10-day injured list. He has a right thumb sprain, will miss Tuesday's All-Star game where he was slated to start at first base. The White Sox Tristan Peters, who hit for the cycle last night, will replace Kurtz on the AL squad. WNBA action, Minnesota beat the Liberty 90-85, and Haydon Yu set the scoring record for LPGA majors today with an 11-under-60 at the Evian Championship.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Monday, the ESPN Radio Rankem Series continues. I'll tell you who I think the top 5 breakout stars will be in the NFL this season. It's unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
This is the best of ESPN Radio.
We are Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. Insured, a lot of things. Bundled today at Progressive.com. Along with Chris Canty, Evan Cohen with you. Michelle Smallman getting hair and makeup. Normally I would say she's off, but she's been outed by Jason McCourty that she's downstairs just getting hair and makeup. Oh, my God. CC has said he has a million follow-up questions. I only think we've gotten to one or two. I mean, we could probably go the remaining 2 hours of our show trying to understand this thought process for one Michelle Smallman, but nonetheless, CC. Also, a question is out about the concert going because Pat just brought up the idea of going. Jonathan Zaslow, our teammate here at ESPN Radio, has gone to 30 Pearl Jam concerts. And I put out there at Evco Radio, what band/artist has the most repeat concert goers? Some of the replies include so far Bruce Springsteen, Billy Joel. Also got a note from Josh DiMaggio, ESPN Milwaukee, saying, he literally just wrote me, I've seen Fish like 15 times, and I'm not even that big of a fan, just always touring. That's insane. That is called wasting money, ladies and gentlemen.
What are we doing here? Just going to a concert just because they're nearby?
Yeah, just because you can?
Who cares?
That's insane.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. We talk about that all the time, man.
Someone tweeted us at Joey2Trees, I'm about to see Fish for the 177th time next Friday.
Stop it.
Also,
are you being serious?
That's what he said.
Can I deem that person's a fan?
Yeah,
because Josh is saying he's not a fan.
You can't say I'm not a fan, but I've gone 15 times.
15 is crazy.
You're a fan.
I'm not a fan. I've gone twice, but I'm not really a fan. Like, okay, 15 times, buddy, you're a fan.
Wow. Andrew Gomez just tweets at us, Drake, Jay-Z, Chris Brown. I don't know. Jay-Z doesn't, Jay-Z doesn't tour enough to have the most repeat concert goers, does he?
No, but Jay-Z does perform in certain situations. You're like, oh, it's an opportunity to see him. Like, performed in Europe with the album that he released, Watch the Throne. I mean, he's done, one-offs with the Barclays when that opened up. Remember when we won the Super Bowl, he did a gig at Carnegie Hall. He's doing Yankee Stadium this weekend, which I know a lot of people are coming to New York for. So, like you could, sneakily, you could see Jay-Z perform a lot, even though he doesn't tour like some of these other artists that are mainstream.
That makes sense. But 177 times?
I mean, at that point, you keep showing up that many times, they're going to put you on the payroll. 177 times?
Crazy.
That is ridiculous.
I bet that's not even close to the most.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure that there's people who have gone more than that.
Can we calculate how much money it costs to see a band 177 times?
I mean, at least $100 a ticket, right? At least. Probably more than that, I would think.
Inflation and stuff.
Would you ever want to go to a full season worth of games, any sport, any team? Like, Pat's a huge Phillies fan. Like the concept of, I'm going to go to all 162.
All 162? No, I'd go to every home game.
No, I'm serious.
Every home game?
Yeah,
so
season
every
tickets.
home game.
I get season tickets for every home game.
And you would, I mean, obviously people have season tickets, but I'm talking about everything.
That's 81. That's
81 is a lot.
That's a lot. It's a lot, man.
Well, yeah, Cam, what do you think season tickets are? 81 games.
Yes. Do people go to all those games? They sell some of those. I think they don't go to all 81. I'm sure there are people that do. That just seems like a lot to me.
I think it would be pretty damn cool for an NFL team. I bet you people out there have done this. Like, I'm just going to go to all 17.
But if you're going to all the home games from a Major League Baseball team standpoint, it's not even about enjoying the game at that point. You're just going to all the games to say you go to all the games. That's ridiculous.
I mean, CeCe didn't even go to all the Giants games after he got his contract. He was on the team.
They were paying me.
He was on the
I
team.
didn't go to all the games. Oh, the Giants got a home game. I'll stay at home and watch it on TV.
He's like, I don't really want to play today. What do I need to? He's openly talked about the 1 year in his life and his career. 1 year for this man's 40-plus years on Earth. He has talked about openly, this is not me outing him, of 1 year where he's like, I'm not a max effort guy this year. He had that 1 year.
Paid vacation.
Paid vacation.
Yeah.
But Pat would go to all 81 home games for the Phillies as a fan.
If I'm already watching like 140, let's say, games in the season, then like going to 81 is not that insane.
Yeah, no. Watching on TV is very different thing than getting in your car or getting on public transportation to get to the stadium, fighting traffic, fighting crowds, and then watching the game and then having to do the same thing all over again just to get back to your couch.
100%.
No shot.
100%. Plus, not to be weird, but like bathroom, food scenario, shower scenario, like it's a lot easier at home.
What do you mean shower?
You don't shower during the day at all?
Who showers during the games?
Yeah, what?
Oh, I shower at halftime of games all the time at night. That's how I stay awake.
I would just shower when I got home from the game.
Wow.
We work early in the morning.
You learn a lot about your teammates. I did not have that on the
Monday Night Football halftime showers? You guys don't do that?
So when we're watching the breakdown on the halftime show, just know that's when Evan Cohen is in the shower.
Yes, because I'm up at 3:40 in the morning every day. I want to watch all